Today we're going to show you how to make this brooder. I'm Chris and welcome to Split Hour Farm. So this brooder box we use for both our quail and our chickens. The chickens we'll have in here for a shorter period of time just due to their size, and then we'll move them out to a bigger brooder box. This is fantastic for our quail because it fits a whole bunch of them, and typically with our Nurture Right 360 we have about 30 to 40 eggs being hatched a month, and we'll put out 30. Usually our hatch rate is about 50%, so we'll end up with like 15 to 18 depending on how many we put in there. So this will comfortably fit 18 quail, no problem. And then you have your heat lamp, and I'll go through the setup because we made a few adjustments along the way. It might look a little Frankenstein, however that's just because we used all of our recycled goods from our house from different projects that we've had. You know, the chicken wire from a few of our past videos when we were making our chicken tractor. You got the extra lamp from the chickens not using it right now, and we just went ahead and bought a 118 quart plastic container here. This way we can reuse it to pack all this stuff back up in it when we're not breeding our quail. So let's just go over real quick and look at the different components that kind of make the brooder a lot easier to deal with and maintain. So one thing is the top here is a galvanized chicken mesh, and I had initially put it where I was picking up this top and reaching in, but you can see that there's a lot more space available for the quail to get out. It actually happened that Danielle and the dogs and I had to chase a bunch of quail around our barn. Instead, we have this, you flip up this wooden piece, and now you can reach in. It has a lot less space for them to get out because you're kind of blocking this as you're reaching in. It also allows for a easy transition for your feed and whatnot to put in and take out. When you have your baby quail, you're kind of going to want to start with something small, like a peanut butter top, peanut butter lid, or some kind of container of the top. For the water, you're going to want to put in pebbles so that the quail do not drown, and you can just put that in the cage for the first week or so. I do the same thing with food. We grind up our food and just put it in one of these lids, and that lid then sits in there. The quail do their thing and have no problem with it. One thing I'd like to mention is this lid right here. It is a larger piece of wood that's purposeful. So instead of having a lighter piece of plastic or something that I'd have to have a latch on that I'm going to have to take off every single time, I like nice and simple and easy. There's no way a quail is picking up this piece of wood. So it's just easy for me. Pop it up, good, put it down, quail aren't getting out. While I have this open, I'll show you this also. After the quail are old enough, a couple weeks in, a week or two in order to switch over to an actual larger water feeder so you don't have to fill it as often. I don't know if you can see here, but I have a hook inside the cage that I could take my water feeder, put it on the hook, and then within the cage now itself, there's an elevation to the waterer. That allows for the quail not to kick up underneath. So if this was on the ground, quail typically kick things up, but if you're kicking around, nothing's going inside the water. Makes things nice and easy, and I can just pop it off, fill it. Another thing that made our lives easier is simply this stationary heat lamp and the Inkbird temperature gauge. So what this does is you plug in your heat lamp into the Inkbird, and you can also plug in like a humidity gauge if you want. We just went with the heater, and once the lamp's plugged in here and then you plug in your Inkbird to the outlet, you can set the temperature that you want it to regulate at. So we have it at starting at 99.5 for a quail, and then each week you can turn it down 5 degrees. What will happen is once the heat lamp heats the area to the 99.5 degrees, it'll wait for the preset differential of 1 degree or 3 degrees of change, and then it will turn the light back on. So it'll self-regulate the temperature instead of having to constantly move the lamp up and down. which we started with initially, and it was just way too much work to deal with that. Another tip for if you're going to use the regulated heating route is, if you see inside here, this is the temperature probe. I simply put it on a peanut butter cap, and I tape the peanut butter cap to the ground. And what this is going to do is it's going to make sure that the temperature gauge is the relative height of the quail's head. You're going to want that area, that spacing, to be the temperature that you want. So this gives a good judgment of what the proper temperature should be, and doesn't make it so that if this was sideways, the quail are trying to jump on it and like perch on it, but they can't really sit on this little tiny piece here. Watch out, guys.
So the temperature of the brooder is going to want to stay between 95 and 100. We have this little white dish over here with some water for them and some of the wild game feed we put in a blender, so it's more of a size that they can eat, and they're just kind of figuring out their little surroundings right now.
If you're looking for a cheap and easy brooder box for your quail, this is the one for you. Hope you enjoyed the content. See you next time.